Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacy. You're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment. And our guest is Sara Chiarilli, owner of Artful Conceptions, as well as a designer and an author. Welcome to the show, Sara.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So I'm going to give some more background on Sara. She's the owner of Artful Conceptions, an interior design firm with a showroom in Florida. Sara's work has been on HGTV, CBS, NBC, and in international publications. She has been an expert source for companies such as Sears, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Realtor.com. Her company was awarded Best of House, and she was named Woman of the Year 2014 by the National Association of Professional Women. Sara's newest accomplishment is her book, Designing You, that can be found on Amazon. So first, tell us, Sara, what kind of trends are you seeing in today's real estate world, especially like new construction or remodels?
So, we're seeing a lot of trends towards everybody's personal style. Mm-hmm. We always hear in the real estate market, oh, don't personalize it because you'll never be able to resell it. Mm-hmm. In some ways, that's very true. Not everybody wants to walk in and see, bright red kitchen, or they don't want to see, magenta color walls. Mm-hmm. Okay, we get that.
Right.
But on the other hand, people want to be able to walk in and be like, oh my goodness, I could live here. Look at how fantastic that is. This home just gave me a big, huge hug. So we are talking about making sure that you do have some great personal touches to it. So we don't want to stay all super, clean without any personality to it. So put a little bit of your personality into it. Do some great backsplashes. Do some great accents. We are done with the all-white kitchen. And
really?
by that I mean, the white cabinets, the white countertops, the white subway tile, and the white floor tile.
Right. It sounds like you just described every HGTV show ever.
And that's the thing is that, we have to remember that we have to live in these spaces. So, yes, we want to resell them, and if they look really good, people are going to come in and they're going to want to buy it. Even if you do have some really unique pieces and things that are done with it. But, yeah, we are so done with that white on white on white on white. And it doesn't mean that white's not fantastic. Let's be honest. All of us ladies, we love a little white with some pretty crystal that plops in there. But we've got to have a little something else to it. So maybe add some color to that backsplash, or go for the floors that are, go for a wood floor, a wood-like floor, whether it is a tile, it's a porcelain made to look like wood, or, we do a lot of what we call luxury plank vinyl, and I know everybody just cringed when I said that word vinyl. But we do it a lot down here on the water, and, we've done it in a lot of homes up north also that are waterfront homes where people are tracking in sand and things all the time. It's a great product because it's 100% waterproof. You don't have to worry about if that dishwasher overflows or anything like that, and it still looks and feels like real wood. So, give a little depth to it. Don't make it so white on white on white on white.
So are the kitchen cabinets still staying pretty much white? Is that the trend? It's just throwing some other color in there?
Throwing some other color in there. White is great, but what also is fantastic is we're doing some fun, gray-toned cabinets, or adding in some different accents. Do a glaze on them. Not so, if you're going to go really white cabinets, make sure you have accents in the other areas. But if you're going to go like a really white countertop, then look at maybe doing a soft gray cabinet, or bring some other colors in. We did one kitchen recently where we actually did a very soft butter yellow cabinet, and it was gorgeous with Carrara marble to die for. And it wasn't, nobody walked in there and went, oh my God, you have yellow cabinets. It was a
right.
soft color that every realtor walked in and went, I have never thought of doing that, but oh my God, house sold in one day.
Huh.
Wow.
I always wonder, I was looking at old photos from the house I grew up in, and we had avocado appliances.
We had Harvest Gold.
But I'm like, maybe it's the completely white kitchen, but what is it that we're doing today that 20 years from now, people are going to look at our houses and be like, why did they have like stainless steel, silver, like
Everything.
appliances? Everything is silver. It's really odd. But I don't know. What do you think are the things that we're doing today that are eventually just have to get outdated?
I think it's going to be the shiplap. Like, I think that, I mean, I personally, like, almost kind of half cringe inside when I hear, oh, let's do shiplap. Let's shiplap that wall. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So I think that that's going to be kind of our, like, avocado appliances are going to be those, like, shiplap walls everywhere.
Interesting.
I know we like them. I think they can be some great trends. And I think to me, the bottom line is anytime you are not staying true to yourself and to who your personality is, you're going to get tired of the look. So if you're doing something because it's a trend, not because it's something that really resonates with you, it's always going to be something that we get tired of.
Right. So for people listening that are, for example, either just moved into a house or living in a home and they want to kind of spruce it up with interior design, where do you suggest people get the best ideas for something cool to do?
Well, I absolutely, first off, I'm going to say, get my book.
Yes. Done.
But honestly, I love House. I love Pinterest. I think they're great places to look for ideas. I also think that, you should be looking through Traditional Home. You should be looking through all of your different design magazines. Pull out Architectural Digest. Pull out Interior Design Magazine. There's some great ideas in there. And then after you've pulled all the different things that you like, whether you do it on House and you put your idea books together, or you create boards in Pinterest and pin them there, then call a designer. Because even if you don't hire them for the whole project, even if you just hire them to come in and do a consultation with you to give you some ideas of where to go, of how to start to create that kind of feel, then you're going to be so much farther ahead on everything. Because what we do as designers is we take all those different pictures and all those different ideas and thoughts that you have, and we get down to who you are and your personality to be able to create that look. And you may be pulling something because it's shiplap, but when we sit and talk about that picture, it's not actually the shiplap that you're loving. It's the feeling of the colors and the combinations that go around with it. So you can definitely save yourself some heartache and a whole lot of extra labor.
Yes.
But getting that consultation to really get a good idea of where you should start with all of it.
Okay. Hire a designer and buy Sara's book, Designing You. How much does lighting play into the design and flow of a welcoming space?
Lighting is so huge when it comes to a space, whether it is a residential space, whether it's a commercial space. But here's my rule of thumb when it comes to lighting. Every room, every space should have 3 sources of light. You should have your light that's completely functional.
Yes.
You should have your light that is directional, so highlighting whatever needs to be highlighted, whether it's an artwork or an area or a space. And then you should have your lighting that is just solely decorative.
Okay.
So if you were in a family room or a living room, you would want overhead lighting to be able to light the room, and I highly recommend you have them on dimmers, so you can have it as bright as you would like, or on a lower level, especially for evenings or casual gatherings or that kind of a thing.
Right.
You would have table lights for if you're sitting in an area and you're reading and you need a little extra light there, then you have another source of light there. And then I love a light in the center of the room that is just beautiful and decorative and just ties everything together.
Wow.
Like a ceiling-mounted light in the center?
Exactly. Exactly. Some kind of hanging light that would just tie your whole room together. Or if you have a beautiful fireplace, having fantastic sconces around the fireplace in there. You want to have 3 different sources that can be turned on and off as you need them. Most probability you will almost never have all 3 of them on at the same time, but that's why we want them separate, so that it can be from functional to just your feeling for the room, for the ambiance.
Right. Going back to new construction, you mentioned in some stuff you sent over to us, it talks about upgrading counters, because I think especially in the real estate world, when it comes to selling new construction, kitchen is what sells a lot of the properties. And so oftentimes when we sit with a builder, we say, well, you have to have granite countertop. There's a minimum standard of what you need. Where in 10 years ago, granite was an upgrade. Now it's like you have to have granite. What other items would you tell a builder just in the kitchen alone that they need to add in order to have a wow effect when somebody comes into a model home?
So in your kitchen, there are a few things that I think are pretty much essential. Mm-hmm. Just like you have to have a stone countertop.
Okay.
Have to. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything less than stone, and it seems cheap.
Right.
So definitely stone countertops. The other absolute must are soft closed doors and drawers.
I actually did that in my kitchen, and you really can't live without them once you have them.
Exactly. And everybody looks at them, and you have those soft closed doors and drawers, and if you've had them, and you walk into a kitchen, you walk into a model home, and you open a drawer, and it slams, it's all of a sudden instantly a matter of, oh my gosh, they did cheap cabinetry. Mm-hmm. Which they could have really expensive cabinetry and not have put that feature on it, and it seems it all of a sudden lessens the quality of what it is.
I feel like I have cheap cabinets in my house now.
Because you don't have the soft close?
Yeah, I didn't even know this existed.
Oh,
and my house is kind of new.
It is new.
So,
my last house didn't have me either.
I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yes. Not having to hear a cabinet door slam is wonderful.
Do people ever hire you, like say somebody's buying new construction, before they even negotiate what they're going to do with the builder? Do they bring in an interior designer early?
Absolutely.
Huh.
I love a job when we start before any kind of construction or anything starts, so that we can actually do that and we can sit down and talk with them. I love a pre-contract meeting, because that means we can sit with the builder and we can talk about, like, I'll have known that if I know that client and I know what they're looking for, and we've had that meeting that I know what they want in this new construction house, I can sit with them with the builder and say, look, these are the things that we're talking about. And so don't give me a $3,000 budget for lighting when we've already looked at chandeliers for the dining room, and that alone is over $3,000. Or, hey, we have to have these soft close doors. We have to have a stone countertop. We don't want a little tiny 4-inch backsplash. We want a backsplash that's going to go from the counter all the way to the cabinet. So I don't want to go through all of this, and the worst experience, and I think it's so deflating to every client, is that they get involved with this builder and they love the builder and they get excited and they sign this contract, and then they get to the design session where they start picking pieces and they start picking what goes into their house, and then everything's an upgrade.
Yes.
If you can avoid that process, you have already got a client that will love you for life. Because as a builder, they get to say, hey, you know what? We met with them beforehand. We told them what we were looking at. We knew what level we were going to be at. It was already in our contract. We knew. We didn't go in for a design session and then all of a sudden we're $150,000 more than we thought we were. Or, whatever level they change out to. And that builder becomes a star because we had that meeting beforehand.
Yes.
Where they knew.
And that is important, because the first time I built a house, that's what I went through. And I did it. I didn't have a girlfriend or a wife at the time, so I had to pick out all the stuff. So when they got time for the lighting, I just said, you know what, I don't want to be bothered with it, so just include whatever whatever you normally put in it. And he's like, oh, that's not what we do. $500 isn't going to buy you lights for that house.
Right, exactly. $500 is going to get you your one light over your kitchen table.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, it's very interesting. I just wrote an article for the local paper on this very subject, on buying new construction, because I had a very similar experience buying my first house, and this is going back 15, 20 years. It was new construction, and it tainted me forever. I said, I will absolutely never buy new construction again because it was horrible. As somebody that's brand new, buying a brand new house for the first time, you really have no idea what your allowances should be. So I could see the absolute value of having an experienced designer come in from the beginning to help you with it. And probably whatever the cost of a designer is, I would guess you save it 10 times over in savings, knowing what you're getting into from the beginning with the builder.
Right, exactly. And and here's the thing. You can have a couple of meetings, and let's say you spend $500 on a designer. Mm-hmm. Okay, you've had a couple of meetings, had 2-3 meetings with a designer. You spend about $500. But going into it, because let's talk about what happens in that experience. So you go into the design center, you had no idea all these kind of things were going to be upgrades, right? You put it all in together, and now you're however much out of extra. And guess what? Half the time that can't be rolled into your loan.
Right, exactly.
So now they want you to cut a check for all your upgrades right there at the time.
Right. Absolutely.
And it just is this awful, horrible, sickening feeling that you're like, oh my God, I thought I was getting this absolutely amazing thing. I walked through this model so many times. I wanted it to look like that. I was so excited. And nobody sat down and told them, hey, by the way, for that model, the cost to add all the features and all the different things that we added to that is about $30 a square foot.
Right. Nuts.
For everything that we put in. And people don't, and nobody says that to anybody.
Right.
It's always this kind of like dirty little secret.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you, there are some builders out there that I absolutely love working with, and that say, we're not going to do that dirty little secret.
Right.
We're actually going to bring our designer in, and before we even write our contract with you, you're going to sit down with a designer. And we're going to talk about what it is that you really want in your house. And then we're going to write the contract around that. And I wish and I pray every day that every builder will turn around and start doing this kind of thing, because it makes such a difference. Because then your realtor's not, how many times does that person then turn around and get upset with the realtor?
Exactly.
Because, hey, you didn't tell me I was going to have to pay all this extra.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, our time is up. I could talk about this for hours. For anybody listening, this is Sara Chiarilli. You can check out her book called Designing You on Amazon. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today, Sara.
Thank you, Sara.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
That's going to do it for this edition of Get Real. Join us again next weekend for more.